It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know if you should stay home or if you should go. Might even yell if it's a spectacle. From San Francisco to Long Island. 'Cause nothing's better than a
It's Movie Time is produced and hosted by John DeSando. Listen to shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando,
And I'm Gary Hammond.
and this is It's Movie Time. Well, now we have a film that's actually on Netflix that our audience can go see. So it depends on how we present ourselves here, whether they're going to want to go see that or not.
I think they will. We'll see.
Yeah, well, we don't always, but we do fashion ourselves as cheerleaders for good movies.
We do.
So frequently we have good movies because we know we have a sense of what's going to be good or not.
Yeah.
And when you have a lead such as Glenn Powell, whom not a lot of people know.
I haven't seen him to my knowledge, and I know I haven't seen the female star before this
Right,
movie.
yes, we'll talk about
My
her.
heavens,
Isn't
yes.
she lovely?
Yes.
But Glenn Powell was in, recently, Maverick, Top Gun Maverick. He was one of the hot shots.
Okay.
But he has been in several films, and they're now considering him to take the real leading role, this is a good test for him.
Yeah.
He reminds you a little bit of Ryan Gosling.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
I was a little bit confused. In fact, when I was looking for it, first I thought it was a Ryan Gosling movie.
I know, yeah. And time will tell whether he has the multiple talents that Ryan Gosling
That's true.
does.
Few do.
Whoa, few is right. We were just doing.
But we're going to compare him favorably with Ryan Gosling today.
Yes,
Yes.
I think anybody who would be compared with him
Yeah.
would consider that an honor. All right, it's called Hitman, and starring Glenn Powell and I'll get this right.
You will.
Audra
Yes.
Arjona.
Yes.
Audra Arjona.
Ahana.
Yeah, and set it up now, Gary. But now you don't have to do the whole film.
Oh.
Just set it up.
Okay, we have a fellow that is a professor at a university. I don't know if it's community
It's actually
college.
a community college.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know if it's a
all
community
right.
college, but,
Yeah.
but anything. And he is a professor of philosophy and psychology, which is an interesting combination, which made it sound more like maybe it was community college. And he's in front of the students, and he's presenting an ethical dilemma, and then he goes home and he has his cat, and he has his little table in his little kitchen. There's only one chair at the little table, which is telling, and he's eating there, and he's very boring, and he's very simple.
A simple soul who's divorced, and you can tell it.
But you don't know he's divorced when he first appears. But
Correct.
You later meet he's with his best friend,
That's right.
his ex-wife.
Yes, thank you. And so he's kind of a dweeby guy, living by himself.
Yeah.
And
And his name is Gary, by the way.
And
a cool name, of course.
well,
but
even more so than. Anyway, so what's the deal then? I'm not
what the
interested in some
deal
movie
is,
about
no,
this.
it's not. But he is technically proficient, and he's a guy that's really up on audio and video and everything else, and he's helping out part-time with the New Orleans Police Department, and they run a sting where they have a number, and the number is given out into the community that if you want a hitman, you should call this number, and they come up short for a hitman to fulfill this role the day that they pick Gary to become the fake hitman.
Bingo. Boy, is he made for it.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah, and it reminds me that we'll talk on our podcast, Bat Talk, a little bit about previous Hitman movies in which they claim more than once in this movie there isn't such a thing as a hitman. How do you have 200 movies about hitmen and not have a hitman?
Well, and he articulates the idea that there's this mythology about it, and that he's fitting into that because everybody thinks hitmen are available and you can find them, but in any event.
Well, all right, so we've seen John Wick and we've seen the pinnacle of assassination here. So what makes this an interesting movie?
He is so engaging, and he dresses, he's called up. It's like he's the understudy, and he's called in and is thrown into the role without actually having any script, but he's heard it done, and so he develops a talent of looking at the person that is looking for a hitman and trying to analyze what kind of a hitman would they like. And sometimes they want a German. Oh, that's not a German accent, but wait, anyway, sometimes they want a German. Sometimes they want somebody real seedy, they want somebody professorial, sometimes they want somebody intellectual. And so he sits down with the file that they've assembled on the people and the information they have, and he decides who he's going to be. And his characters have different names, and they're not stock characters. Each one is developed for each person, which makes it very interesting. And it also allows him in this movie, John, to show a very wide range of acting.
Boy, what an opportunity.
Yeah.
And he does super well. Anything from a hippie to an intellectual. He has to project to his client that he is totally competent.
Yes.
He does a great job, even in the first one, where he just kind of beats him or her right down with his expertise. And his colleagues are all listening on remote devices, and they're just astonished at how he jumped into this role perfectly. So, yeah, so we get several of these encounters that he has with people. Now, somewhere he has been located through the police, but for people who are looking for somebody to assassinate someone.
Right.
And often it's matters of love, would you say? Most often?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really
Love and hate, but yes. And
right.
sometimes love and hate in the same category.
Yeah, does that exist? I think it does.
I think it does,
you're right. So he does, and he takes this role, and so, all right, good. That's good. We've got 99 other Hitman movies. What makes this then worth sitting through the 2 hours?
Because he's a very engaging phony. He's a very engaging actor. And he acts in the movie, and what happens is he gets a call from a young woman who's interested in separating from her husband without going through the legal process of divorce. And he doesn't step out of character, but he steps out of his role.
Yes. He breaks, this is a rule you don't break. And this is like saying, don't go to AA. You don't need that help, right? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, no, you're fine. Go ahead.
You're fine.
Go ahead and drink.
I like you. You don't need that stuff. So for his buddies, this is really breaking the rules. I wonder why.
He talks her out of killing her husband
Right.
or hiring the hitman.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's always a question as to if we were sitting there, why would we be so interested in this lady? Well, she's downright gorgeous.
She is.
And talk about personality and aggressive. And what I like about Powell's depiction, he doesn't show you that he's falling over or that this is the reason that he's interested in her, but you can tell as an actor that he's...
Because we are falling for her, John.
Exactly. Here we are. Real projection here from the audience.
Why isn't he falling in love with her?
Oh my God. So they do have a romance. Of course they do. And of course, this brings up problems.
It does. There's always problems.
There are 2 major problems here with the husband.
Yes.
The ex-husband, she says.
Mm-hmm.
The ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got this goofball on the police force whom he's substituting for.
Yes.
And boy, is he a
Wait,
wacko.
see, he takes his job. And we'll call him the wacko.
Yeah, I know.
The wacko first fake hitman. And he comes back into the scene, and you just know every time he appears, it's like in the old silent movies where the organ would go to really scary music.
You
When
can tell.
Simon Legree came out.
And he has a permanent persona of the stringy long hair and the kind of druggy looking guy.
Yeah.
But he's been effective.
Yeah.
And he's been a hitman for them,
Yeah.
and he's done his job.
But our character, the lead in this, has been more effective
Wow.
because of the way that he caters to the individual clients.
Yeah.
Where the other guy is simply, hey, I'll kill him for you.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So his life gets complicated. And how do they handle the romance? It always interests me. The romance is in everybody's life. It certainly has been in my life. You've been lucky enough to have a great lady that you never have to worry about anybody else. But I've had more than one where it is difficult to navigate the relationships. So how do they help? How does this work in a movie?
Well, I will say that yeah, I'll just say it, and you can edit it out as you see fit. The romance is very convincing, and their physical interaction with each other, the sex, it's not graphic like, as graphic as Halle Berry and Billy Bob Thornton in Monsters Ball, but it's believable, subtle but believable, and very powerful, and it's obvious that they're both falling in love with each other.
Yeah.
Well, certainly in lust, but falling in love as
Yeah.
well.
And I understand this may be Linklater's first real sex scene. The director,
Yeah.
Richard Linklater, whose name everybody knows, but it actually, and it's a steamy one.
Yes.
And you're bringing a point that I think a lot of people really appreciate, that there is a good identification between the two of them, between the actors. And it's always the question is, did they get involved not on screen or not? And who knows, except that they are paid handsomely to act like they really have fallen in love with each other.
Yes.
And they do. And I
Yes, and they
appreciate,
do. And
I
it's convincing.
appreciate that. It is convincing, which immediately you can say, don't do that. Do not go there. You are an assassin. You're supposed to be a hitman. And this is just not going to work out.
And she and he, they're irresistible to each other, is
Yeah.
what actually happens. They're
Yeah.
like two magnets that got close enough together.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I like the conjunction of his classroom lectures with what he's doing. Did you see any of that?
I did, and the thing is that well, there's the first one and there's the last one. There was an intervening one which didn't impress me one way or the other, but the last one shows that he has changed.
How?
He's seized life by the throat, and he's living his best life because that's what he's decided he's going to do, and that's what he's trying to tell. That's what he tells the students that they should do.
Yes, yes. And what's so interesting is that Nietzsche notwithstanding, and any other philosopher, or Sartre, any other philosopher, is interested in the identity, self-identity, and the creation of yourself. And in the contemporary world, this is a big topic for us. This is Facebook, TikTok, wherever you can create your persona. How long, how does that stay with you? Can you change your personality? Are you always the same, but you just role playing? And this is where I see that lecture coming in. He is living a life of changing roles, because
Right.
that's what he does as a job.
Yes, but his real life is in a real role now.
Yes.
That he has become, well, what he says, and not to give, but he's become the best parts of himself, Gary, and his character Ron, who was the best character, and that's the character that he displayed for her. Everybody loved.
Gary, I have to interrupt you.
Yes.
Another Gary here. In this role here as a blabbermouth on my show,
Yes.
We have to steer people toward our podcast,
Okay.
Backtalk.
Okay. Hopefully we haven't driven them away.
No, and let's say goodbye to them by your advising them what to do about this Netflix movie, Hitman.
I think it was a great romp, a great fun, some twists and turns, which I hope we haven't given away, and go see it.
Oh heck, we'll give it away. Yeah. Yep.
It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom, he's gonna let you know